Okay, my name's Lee, and I wanted to explain the basics of how to set up the automatic tool height adjustment on the Syntec 6MA machine. I'm not sure if this is exactly the correct factory way, but this is the way that I do it, and it seems to work really well and needs very little adjustment after you've had it set. I apologise that this video will probably be put together in pieces, as I'm kind of new to the whole blogging thing, and I'm not entirely sure how to do it. So for starters, I'll explain a little bit of what we're doing and what I'm doing. Now, when the Syntec 6MA does the tool measurement on the offset, which is this button F3 here, you get all your offsets and external shifts. And if I tuck on the tool tip, the tool set, then you can see all of the offsets, which is the differences in the heights of all the different machines, heights that I've got. Now, tool number 8 here, which is 700 thousandths out, is actually my reference tool. And what you really need is, you need all of the other tools to be referenced against your reference tool. And that way the offsets work, and if you use the reference tool whenever you're setting up a piece of material, it makes it very easy to align it. So what we'll do to start with is I'll show you the reference tool and show you how to get it. So the easiest way to do this is to go back to the main screen and then go into monitor and hit MDI down here on the keyboard, and then up here enter the MDI input of T8, which happens to be the position that I keep my reference tool in. By typing in a simple command, I can get it to run across and grab the correct tool for me. So I can now press go down here, it's in MDI mode, and press go. The machine will now run across and go to the automatic tool splinters. Checking the tool, swap to the reference tool, which I can then press jog and bring across. Now, if I bring the dust hood up and go and grab this, trying to manipulate it by hand, you can see this is my reference tool. The specifics of the measurement for it are here. So this shows you how I made it. Basically, it's a round tool with a 3mm shaft, 25mm shank on the shaft, and a tip on the point so that I can use it to align to the corner of a piece of material. I didn't make this myself. We have an engineering shop across the road with a lathe, and they just turned it down for me. If you keep a reference tool to use as your basis for every other measurement that never changes, then you always got a reference for all the other tools to be marked against. So that's why I use that particular tool. Now I'll put this back in the machine and then I'll explain how we do the setup for the references on it. Okay, so this is the Cintiq keyboard, and on XYZ on the side you have all these additional buttons, and these buttons are used for different functionality. For example, they've programmed the lamp button up to work for the vacuum. The F2 button is for auto tool height. When I turn that on, it'll reference a tool every time it takes it out of the carousel. Obviously you don't want to do that every time, otherwise it'd make your tool changes take a lot longer. So they give you the option to turn it on and off. For this though, what you need to do in order to set your auto tool height first is you have a reference which is called the auto tool to table distance. Now this was fairly confusingly explained in the manual, and the best way to show you is you come out of here into the main screen and then flick across to the area that says parameter, which on this is F2 after you've moved across, and it gives you a list of all the parameters. Now it's fairly confusing, but I've been through the majority of the parameters, and the parameter that references the auto tool heights table is parameter 3411. So if I press down here, go to parameter, and then go 3411 and hit OK, and it skips through, and you see at the top there in yellow, it might be difficult to see, it says auto tool to table distance R91. Now at the moment mine is set to -187.804. Now this is a reference from the 0 of Z, the G53 0 home position, to where the tool touch off is, and obviously everybody's will be set differently. So the easiest way to set this is to set this to 0 and just press 0 and press enter. When you do, it'll ask you for a password. The default password for the Syntec is set up as 520, so I press 520, enter, and then it accepts my value of 0, which is difficult to see again, but it's there. Okay, now I will go back to the start, and now that I've got this in here, I will flick back to monitor, which is here, and bring up the monitored screen and switch the machine back to MDI input. Now it's set up on here, it's again difficult to see, but it says T8 just up here. If I turn on F2, which is for auto tool measuring, then I get a warning come up on the screen that says hint, after tool change auto tool open hint, which is obviously the way of the Syntec's English way of saying that it will check the tool height after I've done a tool change. Now, being as I already have my automatic tool height reference tool in there, if I just click one of these buttons, to this one over here, to clear it, so it's gone, and then press this, because the F2 is on, it will actually go, and it's still set to T8, it will go back and then check the tool height. So I'll click the cycle start, and you'll see it runs across, and it very slowly goes down to do the auto tool touch off on my touch tab. Now what this will do at this stage is it'll actually give me a measurement for that reference offset, the Z offset, the one that we were just looking at that had the really strange 187 the number in it. It'll actually measure it and check it, and when it does, I can show you where you get that reference from. So there we go, so it's checked it. We run back over to the machine here, and if I go out of here and I go into the offset setting, you can see down in this bottom corner here, -187.819. Now I'm just gonna write this down, and then I'll take you back to the parameter page and show you how you put it in.